Just past Friday, apartheid-era chemical warfare expert Dr Wouter Basson lost his bid to have his guilty verdict by the Health Professions Council of South Africa set aside. Basson had sought the North Gauteng High Court intervention after a HPCSA committee found him guilty of unethical conduct. He had wanted two committee members to recuse themselves, claiming they were biased against him, but the request was dismissed. Well, in studio with us, we've got Tebogo Malatji, who is the legal representative for the HPCSA. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So the two members that Basson had a grievance with were Professor Yanni Hugo and Professor Eddie Mhlanga. They are members of those organizations who had signed a petition to have him removed from the medical role. Why were they selected for his disciplinary hearing?
Yeah. Look, the selection process is governed by the Health Professions Act itself and regulations in terms thereof. As with all professions, you get registered to practice, and with that license to practice comes a responsibility to obey all of the laws applicable to you ethically and otherwise. Now, these particular highly regarded professors are members of the profession that make themselves available to, in effect, conduct what is a peer review of conduct of one of their own. It's done in all professions. A committee gets set up to look into that matter. Now, under the Health Professions Act itself, the basis for appointing committee members is firstly the prerogative of the professional board in question, in this case Medical and Dental Professions Board, and people make themselves available to serve, in effect, the public in this respect. And the professors, like many other practitioners, made themselves available. Yeah. And the chairperson of the board at the time in 2007, Professor, I'll get to his name now, he was the chairperson of the board now, Mariba, gets a list of all the people that have made themselves available to act as chairpersons of these professional conduct committees. And he selected three based on his assessment of their expertise.
Okay. When the judge was ruling on Friday, he said that Basson's application was premature and that the court could not hear it until he had exhausted his internal remedies of appeal before the HPCSA, which now goes back to them and into the appeals committee. When can we expect a ruling from them?
Look, the process currently in terms of the judgment is he must go back before the Professional Conduct Committee consisting of the two professors and our retired Judge President Elof as a legal assessor. And before that committee, he must put to them, if he wishes to do so, an argument that says he wishes to appeal the recusal decision, the decision to refuse to recuse themselves. And then if they do agree with that appeal, and an appeal process would then ensue to another committee of the HPCSA, which is charged with listening to appeal cases. But we must be mindful of the fact that he could still apply for leave to appeal before the High Court, and that the matter can potentially be delayed in that respect. Yeah. We have no sense of when will the proceedings resume before the Professional Conduct Committee. We have to marry the diaries of both the Conduct Committee and the two legal representatives. My sense of it is we're looking at probably 3 to 4 months if he elects to go back to the committee. Okay. and not follow an appeal process before the courts.
I mean, Dr. Basson is practicing. He's in Cape Town. He's a cardiologist. Have there been any complaints against him?
Well, this is the only complaint that is pending against him. There are no other complaints pending before the HPCSA against him.
Yeah. So this is the only one that needs to be heard. I mean, in his capacity. I mean, how much of a threat is he to the South African public, really?
Look, and perhaps if you look at it this way, a Professional Conduct Committee is a peer review system. So what it does is your colleagues consider a complaint lodged against you. They determine whether your conduct meets appropriate standards or not. In other words, whether it was unprofessional, disgraceful, unworthy of the profession that you practice. And having done so, they're then charged with the responsibility of determining what sanction must be meted against you. So that sanction is anything as light as a caution and a reprimand. So in other words, they say, in the nature of the particular conduct, they caution you against repeating the same conduct and reprimand you. And at the tail end of your sanctions is a removal of your right to practice. Now, a determination of whether you are somebody that should be retained on the register of health professionals or not is again a peer review matter. So it is not a matter that is easily looked at. So the committee in question will consider the nature of the conduct in question. They will consider whether there is remorse in your conduct. They will consider aggravating circumstances as would be presented by the team acting for the Health Professions Council, and they will consider mitigating factors as presented by the practitioner themselves, and ultimately determine whether they'll determine whether you should still remain a practitioner licensed to basically deal with members of the public or not.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for talking to us here on the program. Tebogo Malatji, legal representative for the HPCSA. Let's take a break. See you after this.